Boy, we live in a cold time. I never will forget, and Jen will be all right with this. I thank God for moving on her, and I hope that, boy, if everybody in the world gets tired of hearing it, I hope that God keeps me alive and keeps me remembered and stirring up my remembrance just how good God has been to us. For those of you that's never heard, probably everybody's heard, but boy, old Jenna there, she's been with it. She just sits back, most of the time smiles, except when Zach's picking at her or getting on her nerves. That usually makes her frown more than anything. They're brother and sister, but boy, I'll tell you what, she's been through it. And growing up down through time, she would come to me, or Tammy, she'd say, oh, Mommy, we'd be in a restaurant, or we'd be on an elevator, or we'd be in a public place. She'd come to us, and it would embarrass her and hurt her feelings. She said, people stares at me because of her handicaps, and we'd try to soothe it. Oh, they ain't staring at you, or boy, I'll tell you what, people ain't compassionate. We don't live in a compassionate time. But boys, if folks don't stir us and touch us and urge our compassionate nerves, something's wrong with us, yes, sirree. And I like it. Whitney was talking yesterday. There was this old woman, elderly woman. I don't mean to sound disrespectful when I was talking about an old woman, but an elderly woman. And she was talking about she was having a hard time getting up on the train. She said, I wanted to go over there and help her, but then I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Said, you never know these days. She might have said, get out of my way. I ain't past taking care of myself. Well, you just don't know. But you have compassion, and you see people that's sick, and you see people that's down and out, and boy, it breaks your heart. Church, I'll tell you what, there's a sickness, there's a need in mankind. Boy, we need to have compassion on the lost. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody. We need to win the lost. Amen, preacher.
Yeah, you're right. Good message.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Boy, hell's a terrible place. And we don't want to go there.
No.
We don't want none of our people.
No.
But Jesus saw the lepers, and he was there, and boy, it moved it with compassion.
Yeah.
I can see now. Boys, you know what, Buck? It's a terrible thing. Folks say, I don't need nothing, or I don't need nobody. I don't believe that. No, sirree, no, sirree. No. People say, I don't need patted on the back. No. Everybody needs patted on the back every once in a while. Yes, sirree. Oh, I don't care what people think. Yes, we do. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't believe that for a minute. But you know what? We might get hard, and it's like this. Boy, I'll tell you what. The world can hate me if they want to. But that's one reason I like to come to church. I like to come to church because I got friends, and I got family here. Yes, sir. And compassion. Boy, I'll tell you what, I can have the worst week in the world, Buck, and I can come here to church, and boy, I ain't in the door 3 minutes, and I'm feeling like a new man. Come on, devil, I'll bust you right in the nose. Yes, sir. Why? Because you know what, Buck? How would it feel? This is the way it would have been if it would have been the day of leprosy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, Buck? And you've told me many times how much you enjoy coming over here to church. Can you imagine if it was back in those days and you come back here, Buck? Let's just demonstrate this a little bit. Can't you imagine when you come through the door? Hurry up, buddy. You ain't that old yet. Can't you imagine, Buck, when you come through the door over here that Terry, you and Melissa, help me out. Oh, but you come through the door. Come on in, open the door there. Oh, there's Buck. Terry, Melissa, around and get over on the other side. Don't shake his hand. He's got leprosy. You're eat up with it. But anyway, Buck, wouldn't it break your heart if you would come in here and old Terry wouldn't have turned around and grinned and shook your hand, but he'd have jumped up and run out there. And old Lee, you know what? Lee likes everybody. He does. He just grins. Can't you imagine if old Lee saw you? He'd have jumped up and run down the foyer. There, look at him the way it is. Break your heart, wouldn't it? That's the way lepers got treated back then. That's the same way people don't realize if they're not serving the Lord. people was treated.
Yeah.
You know what they went on to do? By the way, we gonna have to, Ricky and Lee and Omer and Hub, we was talking, we're gonna have to cancel that meeting tonight. Do you know what would happen? You think old Lee E-Step likes you, Buck? You really believe he likes you? Seriously. You believe he likes you?
Yeah.
You believe you need $50, old Lee would loan it to you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You believe if your cars was broke down, you call old Lee and he'd loan you one of his automobiles if you really needed it?
You would too.
I would too, yeah. If you horse it.
Who knows that was coming?
Put armor on. Listen to me. Now listen. Wouldn't it break your heart if you heard old Lee get me together and he said, Richard, we're going to have a meeting tonight. I want to call a deacons meeting with you. And them deacons got together and they come up here. Come up here, deacons, real quick. Wheel up here, Bobby. Ricky. Boys, the reason we called this meeting, old Lee thinks we got a problem. Buck Cantley's eat up with leprosy. Y'all like old Buck, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
He's fine. And Lee thinks that we'll have to come to a meeting here. And Lee thinks that I should go to Buck and tell him that he can't come back to church.
Yeah.
It's the way it was back then, huh?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Wouldn't it break your heart, Buck?
Oh, yeah.
You really like coming to church here, don't you,
Oh,
Buck?
yeah.
What do you think, fellas? He's got leprosy now. If he keeps coming, your family, Ricky's going to be eat up with it.
Yeah.
Your little nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Homer, your wife's going to have leprosy. Bobby, you got grandbabies here. How have you got grandbabies here?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We'll have to ask him to stay away.
Yeah. Yeah, for the good of the church. Yeah.
It's the way it is. Thank you. I'll go to stay with me just a minute. Buck, this is serious. I love you with all my heart, Buck. I really do. I remember the first time I met you. I was visiting your mama in the hospital. Now, just to be honest with you, I thought that when I first met you, you had that big long ponytail, and you wasn't real friendly. I thought you was Big Phil. Come find out, I figured out that you was real shy. And you know, you wasn't outgoing like I was. Now, don't get me wrong, we've had a wonderful relationship, buddy. I've enjoyed it. I feel like you love me shirt off your back. And you have, in a way. You've helped me out in a lot of pinches. Something I need to talk to you about, buddy. What breaks my heart, Buck? We're going to have to ask you not to come back to church no more. See, you got this leprosy, buddy, and you know there ain't no cure. You done been to the doctor, and the doctor's told you. Breaks your heart, don't it, Buck?
Oh, yeah.
That you'd say, oh, Richard, now listen, I'll stay away from everybody. I'll sit up here in the pew by myself, and I'll even hold a sign up. Don't nobody shake my hand. Come on, church.
Yeah.
I'd have to say, Buck, we done voted. I met with the deacons. Now, buddy, we're not only going by the decisions of our meeting, but it's the law. It's the law of the land.
Oh, yeah.
You can't come around this no more.
You're right.
I know you enjoy coming here and listening to the singing and the preaching and the testimonies. I know you enjoy that, but Buck, you cannot come back.
Oh,
Buck, you'd be brokenhearted, wouldn't you?
oh yeah.
But you know what? Just like this man, there was somebody that had compassion.